Thank you guys all for being here. I grew up in New York, and when I was starting off as a filmmaker, it was never my dream to win Oscars or to go to Cannes or anything like that. It was always, I'd love to someday have a film at Walter Reed. This is such a, truly, this is like, I've seen so many films here. And to have such a packed house and so many family and friends here, it's really, this is an amazing life moment right now. I almost want to take a picture, but it's too bright, it would be all silhouetted. So there's a lot of people here that worked on the film. If there's anybody that I don't know is here, but I know Anna Pinchuk and Ben Bensman, our two assistant editors, are here. You guys can stand up. These guys. This was a fairly excruciating editing process. The footage, the archival footage trickled in very slowly, and Sergei's story kind of unfolded slowly, and we were at it for a long time. I think it was a good solid 9 months of sitting in a dark room together. And the editor, Federico Rosenzweig, is here. Not enough. Truly, not enough could be said about that guy. An unbelievable artist and poet, and my friend going into the film, and my brother coming out of it, and couldn't have done it without him. So, anyone I'm missing? I don't know. So we have, in the past, we've had some moderators for these, but we thought this was such a special night, we would just open it up to you guys and let you have your time with asking us any questions you might have. Actually, I do have one other thing to say, which is that I have a daughter who dances at the SAB, which is right next door. And she was an amazing inspiration throughout this film, as was my fiance, who used to be a dancer, Jocelyn. They're both here tonight. And I always told my daughter, like, I think I'm going to be a cool dad with this one. And now you like walk right out of her ballet school, and there's our poster, and Sergei's here. And so that's been secondary, and on top of Walter Reed, this is like, it's too cool. So, open to you guys. Yeah, I'll repeat the questions. I'll repeat the questions. He was saying he was inspired. Stand up and say it loud. The question was about the music, where the choices came from, and it was a combination of really two things. It was a composer named Ilan Ishkeri, who does mostly fiction features, mostly much higher budget, and we were very lucky to have him on this. The producer, Gabby Tana, knew him and recommended it to him, and we showed him a rough cut, and he liked the rough cut and agreed to do it, and he's a true, amazing, I think, sensitive artist also. And then when Sergei and I met, I'm kind of from a little bit of a rock film background. I made a film about Willie Nelson and a film about the Pixies, and when I met Sergei, you know, I love ballet and I love classical ballet music, but when I met Sergei and you know, saw the tattoos, and he likes rock and I like rock, and I just thought, like, makes, right away I was like, this is gonna be a rock and roll ballet movie. I remember telling him early on, we're making a rock and roll ballet movie. And we sort of Federico and I spent, I don't know, hundreds of hours listening to music, trying to find the right tracks for different scenes, and the scenes would completely change with different songs in there. And it was actually one of the fun parts of the process was figuring out what the music was going to be. Yeah, we mixed it. We did the whole sound mix at a place in London called Molinaire. They're good sound mixes. Thank you.
Such a beautifully rich.
Thanks. Yeah, sorry, the question was about the sound mix. Let's go in the back.
Yeah, it was such a pleasure to work with Jade, because he's the best friend and he the most could understand me, what I'm trying to say in my last dance at the time. And you know, it was a big inspiration, Baryshnikov, to me, and a lot of steps I used from Baryshnikov moves, but David was the one who finished it and created the mood, and he's a like a beautiful friend and a beautiful creator. So that was very lucky, that combination, and I was very lucky to have him there. Next, I'm dancing for Natalia Osipova program in November.
November 10th to 12th at City Center, if I'm not mistaken. Tickets are going quickly, so don't wait.
Yes.
The question was if Sergei would want to do his own choreography for an evening.
Yes, there is. We actually, I'm creating a company called Project Polunin, and the company idea is to have these funds and to explore new works. And I want to collaborate with Jade and David LaChapelle, who inspires me hugely, on the new creations. And that was my first collaboration, my first art collaboration. I never had that experience of creating, so that inspired me hugely. So we definitely will be, and I'm definitely will be coming to New York with that program.
We're just talking about the sequel now. Actually, there's another person here who I should introduce, which is Sergei's mother, Galina. Oh, she's not here? She's not here. Sorry, she's not here. She's waiting outside. She's been with us all night. She's actually not here. She's waiting outside. She's very shy.
But what we found out what was really interesting yesterday, my mom actually borrowed that camera. It wasn't ours. That's something new we learned yesterday.
Yeah.
And I had no even idea that she was filming, so I was like, oh. I didn't even know it was me. I was like, are you sure it's me? So it was very interesting. I don't know why she was filming. And
yeah. The film, to answer the question was when we knew it was going to end. And that was it really was a 4-year process making this movie, and I think we never knew where it was going to go and when the story was going to end. And
they were waiting for me to die.
Which wasn't happening, year after year. He kept living on. And I think, thankfully we had a producer who, it's extremely rare in documentaries to have a producer who just constantly says, let's just take our time and get it right. I'm sure she was dealing with all kinds of investors, and BBC Films invested in this a long time ago. I'm sure she didn't say, yeah, we'll deliver a film in 4 years. And she was, calmly let us take our time and figure out what the story was going to be. And it evolved slowly over time. And I think it really crystallized with Take Me to Church. Sergei was kind of in this dark place, and we were in LA and thought he was retiring, and it felt like we were going to end in kind of a dark, sad place of this amazing artist retiring, and maybe it was going to end on him becoming an actor or something. And I think the experience of making Take Me to Church with David was very emotional for him, and the response to Take Me to Church, especially from kids, just an outpouring of emotion from boys saying that they're inspired to dance, and from little kids copying him. And I think you can speak to it, but I think Sergei was really inspired by the response to that video, and that kind of gave him this will to dance again, urge to dance again. And that gave us also sort of a structure to our film, which I know Federico is very thankful for. Finally be able to finish this film. The question was that the film is so much about Sergei's suffering. Why does he continue to dance if he's suffering so much? Is that right? Yeah.
It was, I think, the main moment was when we were doing film and Take Me to Church. It was actually happened then when I was thinking to go to the movie industry. I wasn't even thinking to come back dancing. I was sure I was gonna do it. I was sure I was gonna quit. But it was such an important moment, and I cried during that 9-hour shoot for 9 hours. Didn't stop. And it was such a special experience, and I had time to think. And as well, being introduced to David LaChapelle, I realized what I was missing. I realized I wanted to be an artist. That gave me freedom to do whatever I wanted. And before that, I thought, oh, I'm a dancer, or I want to be a movie star. Or that gave me, I realized what artist is, and that gave me a freedom of choice. And as well, seeing Gabriela Tana, who is a huge movie producer, and I wanted to go to movies seeing that she loves dancing more than anything. And seeing David LaChapelle loves dancing more than anything, I thought there's something there that I'm missing. And after that video, David was like, stay and let's edit, let's have fun for a week. I was like, no, I have to come back and dance. And I came back dancing for 3 months with no payment. I was like, I don't want to get paid. Give money to school, whatever you want to do with money. I'm here to dance because I love dancing. That was like such an important moment for me to realize that I'm doing it because I love it. It's nothing else. I wanted to keep me away from realizing that I'm doing it because this is my thing. This is my goal. This is what I've been gifted with. And when the video was released, that gave me even more inspiration because I saw kids and I really care about kids, how they're inspired, and people start to listen to us. Because before I was knocking at the companies, talking and asking questions, nobody really were listening because it's a movie producer and a crazy dancer, like bad reputation. Nobody would hear what we are saying. And that gave us a second breath and people start to listen and we actually start to organize something for dancers. We start to organize this foundation to support dancers. We realize they don't have managers, they don't have agents, they don't have nobody asks them a question who they want to become. And I wish when I was 19 and left Royal, I would have had somebody to talk to. And if I would have had somebody to talk to, I would have built instead of destroy everything and trying to find something. And I wasted so many years traveling, not doing anything really, but like just searching for something. And I wish for next generation, they shouldn't be doing that. They should have that support system which they can be asked, like, do you want to be a model? Do you want to be an actor? Do you want to do musical? What do you want to do? And they need that lawyer. They need that people behind them. And that's the only industry doesn't have that. So that's became our big goal. And we have a lot of angels who are retired lawyers. And we have so many like different angels supporting this. So I do believe it could become international, and dancers really, really need that. To have that art hub, away from a theaters, maybe they can come in and create. Music people can write to it, It's so much you can do with it, and that's became my big goal. Apart from I want to come back, dancing, and apart from I want to try to be in a movie. And so that's.
We were right before we walked in here. We were.
I mean, my interest is actually. I have so many interests. But one of them is to come back to Royal Ballet to dance, and to New York if any company will accept me to dance. And I think it's important, and it could be a really good collaboration, and I would be very inspired to do that.
Before we walked in here, we were taking some pictures outside by the fountain at Lincoln Center, and both these guys were kind of looking around. I could see the light bulbs going off.
But what's very important, which I realized, is we need to freshen up the ballet. Ballet steps cannot be made new. Everything is already written. But somebody like David can just make that water a little bit more crazy, a little bit fresher. And that's who I want to use to begin with, and I hope to carry on working with him because his mind is just unbelievable, and I saw purity in him, and he knows how to create fast, So it's going to be very controversial, I think, but like he wants to do a new ballet, and we just want to give a new look to the ballet because it's just make it pop, make it more popular, make it more exciting, and that's how I see my future. It was very long process, and at the beginning it was Gabriela Tana who approached me, and then she approached Steven, but I didn't know why they're making documentary, what they're gonna dig into. So it took many years, and it was a funny story when Steve came over with like 12 people crew to London, and I dyed my hair blonde so he wouldn't be able to film me. And so I made it very hard for them. And that's my...
I made him wear a hat the whole time we were filming, that's why. He's actually wearing my hat in those shots.
So Steve did go through many layers where I was testing him, testing for trust, and
there was a lot of conversations. Sometimes we would record them, sometimes we would shoot them, sometimes we would just walk around and talk or go out for a burger or something. I think it was definitely a long process of getting to know each other. We're both a little reserved to start with.
But no, and Steve, he worked so hard. I could see, like he saw the vision, how it should be structured. He found that video of my mom when she was, so I was, till the end, I was very hard to work with, but now I'm realizing how lucky I was, Thank you. I wish I didn't have to leave Royal Ballet. I kind of I do, because I would, if I would have another chance, I would build again. I would, on top of that, I would build, and I didn't really have to destroy everything. So I would probably do that differently now. But again, I experienced, and I found that I found that project. I found because when I was in Royal, I was asking the question, why dancers not on TV? Why are they not doing a talk show? Why are they not getting paid well? Why? But I didn't know the answers. But traveling around the world, I found the answer, and traveling around the world, I realized people are the same. Everywhere in Russia, they're the same. It's like the same families, the same needs. And when they were actually doing documentary, I thought that would be amazing to film in different places, because it could unite in a way. And when I saw the documentary, I was like, oh, maybe I didn't achieve that, but actually, I think I did, because Russia wants this documentary, Ukraine wants this documentary on a cultural level, not on the business side. And while I was in Siberia, I really wanted to show Siberia in their beauty, how beautiful this place is. And they were coming at 1st of October, where there's never snow. And Siberia is famous for snow, and it's beautiful when it snows. So I was praying. I was like, please. And I was there for 20 days. I was like, please snow, please snow. And people were like, we lived here for 30 years. It never snowed in the 1st of October. And I was like just connecting with the city. And I was like, the world have to see how beautiful we are, 20 days later, there was no snow. Camera crew arrives, next day performance, 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, let's go outside, let's film it. And I was like, you have to snow. This has to happen. And it started to slowly rain, almost rain snow, and it stopped. And I was like, ah. And we looked at the, the footage, and there was no, you couldn't see anything. And I was like, no, it's not enough. I was like, you have to do more. And they were there for 3 hours, freezed. Igor Zelensky, who became a big friend and mentor, he was like, you're crazy. I was like, we have dancing tomorrow, I'm 45. I was like, my back is stiff. He was walking with me till 12 at night. And he's like, I'm leaving, and I'm holding him, and then we left. We finally let them go, and we went home, and I sat there, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning, heavy snow started. I picked up the phone, called them, and I was like, you have to come in, you have to come in. They were like, sure, fine, we are coming back. Igor was asleep, woke him up, I was like, get out, we're getting out. They've been drinking, all the crew. Standing really drunk, set up the camera, set everything up. And it was magic. It did snow, and I was like, thank God Steve used the footage, because it was like a miracle. And half an hour later, it stopped. And it didn't snow for a month and a half after. So, and I was like, there's something there, and now I'm realizing that's gonna do that. It's very important for artists to unite countries. That's our job against, as dedicated as terrorists are to crime and hate. Artists should be dedicated to love and creation. And that's, yin and yang, Yeah.
Maybe anyone have a question for Jade, maybe?
We were very biased with Jade about classical ballet. We were like, we are classical dancers, this is it. But I spent a long time with Natalia Osipova, and she loves modern than anything. She knows about company, so by spending time with her, I start to learn more about it, more and more and more, and I was like, wow, this is a huge world. This is an interesting world, and actually, I love watching modern more than classical. And if not her, I would have never participated. So she invited me to do her show, and that was my first experience of modern. And it was much harder on the body, I have to say. And I was like getting damaged. But thanks to her, I experienced that world, and it's much harder. Ballet I can learn in a day and perform. And modern, I have to like learn it so many different ways to do it. But like, I wouldn't go too deep, but she does, I know. She does. She loves Gaga, she loves all that kind of stuff, and I was experienced by watching, but I don't think I would ever go that deep into modern because it's such a huge world, and I don't think I'm that good at, as good as other dancers are at it. You know, my goal is to modernize ballet, you know. I think modern is already ahead. You know, they're already making things new and exciting.
Maybe one more in the back. So you think you can dance?
Shall we
Yeah.
dance?
Yeah.
Yes, actually, that was Jade's idea for me to be on that show, and I was we already filmed it, and they already shown that. They showed the final 2 days ago, or 3 days ago. Facebook, I'm not doing the Facebook because I don't know. I tried it for a month.
We have people for that.
And future, I mean, I wished, like my biggest wish is to be as influential as possible, so I can unite things. I do good things and join countries rather than being a bad guy. So that's how I see like to be as great artist as I can, and that's combines movies, creating your own work, helping dancers, moving dance forward, making dance movies, participating in big ballet companies. So that's the plan.
These guys are going to get whisked off to another Q&A, but I'm going to stick around here. So if anyone wants to talk further.
Jade, a question?
Yeah, one question for Jade.
Sergei's my best friend, and we've grown up together, spent literally every day together, and he called me 2 weeks before we filmed Take Me to Church and said, I trust you, mate. Can you create my last piece for me, because I'm retiring and I'm done? And I was like, okay, this is a lot of pressure. And we were supposed to go on holiday to Spain, so I was kind of pissed off that he changed the plans. And I was like, I'll think about it. And then I think he called like the next day, and he was like, you need to come out tomorrow. And I need to choreograph this last piece. We flew out. And at the end of the day, that if Sergei did retire, and that was his last piece, it was my job as his best friend to make that the best piece possible. Something that, if that was the last thing anyone ever saw, that they would think that he made his mark in history. So when getting the music, a few months before, and knowing it was going to be in a chapel, and from seeing him every day in school, growing up together dancing, it just came into my head, and I could see my best friend doing these moves, and it was just, when we got into the studio, I was just trying to recreate whatever I saw in my head and trying to make that as perfect as possible. Because at the end of the day, the piece wasn't even really for Sergei, it was for his fans and his audience. So if Sergei retired and went into movies, that's fine for Sergei, but you know, everyone else that goes to his shows, they're the people that really suffer. So there were a lot of things in the choreography for the audience. It was, you know, saying thank you, and saying I'm sorry, but I wanted to do something else, and among other things. But yeah.
And Jade's family gave me family when I didn't have family in England. So the sofa, the TV, the brother, the mother, father, Jade, gave me family feel. I was like, first time actually maybe ever in my life, I was like, oh, this is a family. That's how it feels. So, and I almost saw Jade like as a father figure. And anything bad would happen, I would like rush to the house, and that was my safe point. So, yeah, that was, you know, crucial, you know, because if not that family, I would have known what family is. You know, that gave me for a future the structure of the family, how it should be.
Thank you again. These guys have to go.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.